You're an interesting man, Scott Lang. You're an Avenger. You have a daughter. But you've lost a lot of time, like me. We can help each other with that. Who are you? I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want. What's that? Time.
I can rewrite existence and shatter timelines. You cannot trust him.
I don't care who this guy is. I just lost so much. He can give us a second chance.
Let me make this easy for you. You will bring me what I need, or everything you call a life will end.
This is all my fault.
You may not want her to watch this.
We had a deal.
Thought you could win.
I don't have to win. We both just have to lose. I'm sorry, Cassie.
Boom, there you go. That was a trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and coming out of the multiverse, it is your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World, and I'm here with the best of friends. They found me out of the quantum realm. First up, Heather Hurt. How are you, Heather?
Good. I have my best friend Kang with me. Thought I'd bring over a guest. Is that okay?
That's my guy. That's my guy. And of course, my other guy, the cat that levels me up, Mr. Glenn Lawrence. How are you, sir?
What's going on, sir? Good to see you, man.
Good to see y'all as well. So excited, so ready to talk about this film. You can ask Heather. I was just like, hey, Heather, can we talk? Heather, hey, Heather, you watch the film now, right? I just gotta get this off my chest. I gotta get this off my chest.
Sponsors, we need money. Please start sponsoring. We don't need money, but we would love money so that we can stop doing the real thing. But I'm literally at my office at like 2:00 and I get a call. What did you think? It's like, sir, we're going to talk about this tomorrow.
All right, so let's break it down. I'm excited to do this conversation. I'm gonna throw it over to Heather, if you don't mind, to break down the story, and then we'll raggle. And then I'll break down the characters, and then we'll raggle in Glenn to kick off our reviews, and then we'll all talk together about how.
What are you gonna do to me? What are you gonna do to me?
You're gonna start the reviews, but we're gonna go with Heather with story, me with the characters, and then you'll kick us off with reviews. All right. Here we go. Tossing it over, Heather. Kick us off. What do we learn in this new phase with Quantumania?
Well, we learn that things are about to go to hell in a handbasket. Coming out of Loki, we know that the multiverse is splintering due to the permittance of a wider multiverse. Of course, there will be no major spoilers. We will not talk about anything that's greater, that's more outside of the trailer. We're just kind of giving the bare bones here. Cassie was not bleeped away. She has been here for a solid period of time, so she has gotten the scientific bug, and she has found a way to communicate, in theory, or potentially, or something like that, with the quantum realm, which really brings up some concerns from her grandmother, Janet Van Dyne, who has recently been brought back from the quantum realm. There's some questions because they also sent Scott there like 3 minutes ago, but besides the point. But we have this concept of they get sucked in, something happens and they get sucked into the quantum realm, where they meet a slew of incredible characters, one of them being Bill Murray. That's the end of the conversation. It is Bill Murray. And a variant of someone we have seen and who we might or might not know is good or evil. We, in theory, know that he is Kang the Conqueror, because that is just the one thing that Marvel could not keep quiet at all. But who is Kang the Conqueror? What does he do? And that is, and what is he doing there in the quantum realm? We learn where he came from, what he is doing, what he wants. And then he pulls in Scott and all of his family into that, let's call it a debacle, into that debacle. So that is my as spoiler-free consecutive story as possible.
All right, let me show love to the cast and crew. First off, these are coming off of IMDb, y'all. So if they're not all there, I apologize. Blame IMDb. We're just using them as our resource to kind of give you a highlight of the people behind this. But for those that we aren't highlighting, mad love to them as well. It takes a village to create an amazing piece of work like this. So shout out to everybody on the cast and crew. But first up, director Peyton Reed, I believe returning. Wasn't he working on the previous Ant-Mans, y'all?
Yeah, this is number 4.
Okay. Peyton Reed back in the seat again, leading our team. Another excellent job by him. The writers credited with this are Jeff Loveness as well as Jack Kirby. We know Jack Kirby, legendary Jack Kirby. I think they're just showing him some love, probably because they pull a lot of quantum realm elements and stuff that he did back when he was working on the comics back in the day. So they pulled him at least under IMDb as one of the contributing writers, although we know that, he passed many years ago. So that's love there. So I really respect that they showed love to Jack Kirby by giving him some writing credit for Quantumania. So now moving on to the cast, obviously, Paul Rudd, our Scott Lang, Evangeline Lilly, our Wasp, aka Hope Van Dyne, returning in the signature title roles, and of course Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer as Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne. Again, building out our family, and of course that we saw in the previous set of films. He has a daughter who kind of really shines in this new film, Cassie Lang, played by Catherine Newton. That is our Ant-Man and the Wasp film. And if you know anything about now, if you've seen Quantumania, this truly is a great Marvel MCU family film, because we're bringing in all these elements of family. You have your parents, your adopted parent for Cassie, because that Hope isn't her mother, and the grandfather kind of roles with Michael and Michelle's characters. So just kind of like a real cool Marvel happy family film. I like the family element as a father watching this project. Some other stars we have in this. I'm going to leave He Who Shall Be Named later in just a second. But we have, as Heather mentioned, Lord Krylar, played by Bill Murray. A character that I really liked when we got to the quantum realm, Jentora, who I want to know more about. Hopefully Heather can fill me in on her if she has, if we've seen her in the comics. Jentora is played by Katie O'Brien. We also have Quaz, who I really enjoyed as well in the quantum realm, played by William Jackson Harper. We have Zolam, played by James Cutler. Let's go back into Earth Realm. Jimmy Woo, Randall Park. Love Randall. Back again in this as well. And let me go back to the quantum realm, who also, if you've seen the previous films, he was part of Ant-Man's team, Paul Rudd's team. He's played another role as an Earther, but he's also now in the quantum realm as Veb, David Dastmalchian. We'll talk on him hopefully in a sec, but I really enjoyed that character. And those are your title characters, y'all. Again, shout out to everybody on this cast and crew who deserve all the love and respect. But those are all your title characters per IMDb. Let me toss it over to Mr. Glenn Lawrence to kick us off on our thoughts. Glenn, were you fan of the previous two films? Fan of the MCU leading into this new phase? Let's talk how we got to Quantumania, and then just some initial thoughts as we build this out.
I thought the first Ant-Man was cool. I was all right. And I thought the second one, I was like, man, that was fun. I had a really good time with it. And I feel like this is kind of along those lines. There's a lot of people who don't tend to like this film or something. There's been like a lot of critics about it. I feel like I know some of the reasons perhaps why it's getting, critics are against it. But I had fun with it. I thought it was a family film, like you said there. I really like the introduction of Kang and what that's going to be. I feel like in terms of, they say good superhero movies are made by good villains. And I feel like the next phases of the Marvel universe are probably in good hands, with Kang being the overarching big baddie and the entire multiverse saga that we're going to see with Kang. So I was very happy with the movie and what it does. I feel like there's been some fatigue as of late because Marvel has had like a crazy amount of shows and films come out, and some of them have been hit or miss, and some of them we haven't liked. And I know I was, a little bit harsh on some of the projects that I felt strayed away from what I wanted the MCU to be. But I think this is good. It does a lot of things. It brings us back into the stakes being raised. I know with Thor, things got a little bit silly, even though like very serious things are happening in Thor. Like he becomes a parent, you know what I mean? Like his whole family is decimated. Like very serious things happen in Thor, but the tone is very like funny, for lack of a better term. It's like it's silly. So we have fun with that, but I feel like Ant-Man is kind of like, all right guys, we're about to refocus, it's about to get serious again. There's going to be some stakes. Obviously we're not having any spoilers here, but suffice it to say, I enjoyed Ant-Man, and I think people should go check it out for themselves. I've always thought the Ant-Man and the Wasp, the Ant-Man series, it's like a good ancillary property, like adjacent to the MCU. So I had fun with it. What about you guys? It seems like there might be some dissent against Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania being a solid film. I want to hear it from if you guys did not enjoy it, or if you did, like where y'all stand on it. Kuya P, I'm itching to hear it.
We'll get to me. All right, let me throw it over to Heather.
Okay, so let's talk about let's first talk about some characters. One, this character right here is a King Kirby creation, so that is why he is credited. For all of you, remember Stan Lee was just a small piece to a big pond. He was an integral piece, but a small piece to a big pond. It is thanks to King Kirby that we have some of the greatest villains and monsters in all of comics. So we got to see a lot of small things about this character. No spoilers, of course, but there's always extra things, and some of those extra things in the movie are going to be just for comic fans, and just for comic fans and that. Sorry. And then of course, so Jantora, one of the really cool things about this movie, and actually it's something that I love as a comic book character. I'm a comic book character now, guys.
So Jantora is a character?
Yes. So what's really cool about what the MCU, and honestly, I'm going to say this, what the MCU and what DC is doing, especially going into the new world, and I'm sorry, Disney, I'm going to break out for a second. But one thing that's really cool about what you can do with comic book films is that you can really dive into characters that are small and unknown and build them into something that you want them to be without going so far out of context that it works. So Jantora, Kryler, they're all characters that, yes, they are in comics. Yes, their roles are like this big, and that's not a pun. Maybe it's a pun. Is it a pun? It's a little bit of a pun.
I see what you did there.
It's a joke if I point it out, right? But so they are part of of a wider Marvelous comic universe. There are moments. Jantora is actually responsible for bringing Hulk's son to what is eventually renamed as the Quantum Realm, and and of course we know how great Hero is. He just completely wreaks havoc across. So that's really cool. Wait, I can't say that. Anyway, it's one of those where what's really great about having movies like this is we get to see a lot of fun, small characters that do have historical relevance within the comics, but they don't have much. So Kryler is literally a one and done. He had one full appearance in a comic, and he died in the same issue. So it's like you can make that into anyone you want to be. Yeah. Quaz, I think that's how you say it. He's played by
William Jackson Harper.
William Jackson Harper. I'm sorry, and I love The Good Place, so I'm so sorry. That character is technically, we're still trying to figure out. Most comic people are still trying to figure out who he is. A lot of people think that he's a recreation of Quasar, who uses powers from the macro universes to power himself, but he does not have the telekinetic abilities. Not the telekinetic abilities, the telepathic abilities that Quaz has. So from a comic book perspective, this is actually a really fun Easter eggy movie. Lots of fun things that you are going to love seeing, including what his first appearance might have been. However, I'm going to pause there and say, however, the movie was fun. It was great. It did not stand up to the other Marvel movies. And no, it's not because Lewis. I wish it was because it was Lewis. I miss him so much. But in all reality, this actually, the three of us didn't get to talk about Black Panther, but this is another one where it kind of, to me, Black Panther was really good in pieces. As a critiqued film, it fell apart in certain areas, and it was the same here. The movie had great strengths, and then in other places, it just fell apart. And it was hard to watch at times. But is that because you were... What?
I was going to say, is that because you were sitting next to me?
No, but I have a feeling that the dude that was sitting next... I was so concerned that the dude that was sitting next to you was, like, ruining your entire experience. God, the dude... Don't be on your phone in a goddamn movie theater! Don't do it, assholes!
Yeah, I tried to ignore it.
That's messed up, dude. That's fucked up.
Anywho, but that's all in all, that's my opinion. It's a fun movie. You should never base all of your opinions on what critics say.
Yes.
I think it was broken at times. It had great moments. It had probably one of the best hand-to-hand combat scenes, like real fights in several Marvel movies. But you can never have, I honestly am not looking for a perfect film and comic book. So.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Heather. Yes. To me, this film was all about he who shall not be named, but we're naming him Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors. Love that man. That dude is a beast, man. He's one of my favorite actors that, rose from film recently, rose from Lovecraft Country, Devotion, soon to be on Creed 3. That brother's talented, man. Brother's talented. And yeah, man, he was my favorite part of his film. He stole all of his scenes. I enjoyed it when he was on camera because you feel that vibe, you feel that energy. But to me, the last half of the film just kind of goes away with it. They built there's this particular scene in the very beginning where they just shows how powerful this dude is. With just I could just do this, and like that's not even that strong of an action. But in Kang, he could fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just beast mode like that. And they show just how powerful this brother is, but then they forget about it in the last 25 minutes of the film. I'm like, what the hell? But I love the film. It's another, I enjoyed the film. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I enjoyed the film. To me, to Glenn, all the Ant-Man films, it's ancillary, right? I think that was your word you said, Glenn. It's fun setting the Marvel MCU. It doesn't have to, Ant-Man's not that great of a character, but you make it, they bring you in with the writing. Paul Rudd is lovable. Just everything they do clicks on all cylinders. It's a cool film. He doesn't have to be your Iron Man, your Superman, or whatever, top of line cat. And that's what makes it so awesome. But yeah, and here we get more of a family film, so I enjoyed those elements. It does feel a part of a bigger piece of the puzzle, I think, to your credit, Heather, where, I think if you didn't see any of the previous stuff, you might get a little lost. But if you have that stuff, there shows an appreciation to everything. But it does feel somewhat like a Lego piece. So as a writer, I see as a creative man, I've got to make a film that anybody can just enter into, but also have all this establishing continuity and further that along. It can be difficult. I think they succeeded, but you still feel that in a way. Or maybe that's just us. Maybe that's, to what Glenn was saying, some Marvel fatigue, if you will, where you have to juggle all these balls. You know, as writers, Glenn, right? Man, I can only imagine that task of creating something new in concept, bringing new elements, and then furthering on a written storyline. So again, credit to the creators for doing it. I don't know. It's a weird state of being as a film fan, as a critic, to enjoy a film for what it is, but then also feeling, you know, that this weird state of in-betweenness and furthering everything else. But I did enjoy the film. It's just my love is for Kang the Conqueror, who we finally get. We've been building up for, you know, from the Loki show into now. And this is to me, this was supposed to be the Kang. They banished this brother into the quantum realm. So this should be the one and only true Kang to then lead the other Kangs or whatever, blah, 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 with this story that we're building. And I wanted this personally to just set the tone for the big baddie that we're now going to battling in the next of these batch of films. And they fucked it up at the end. To me, we got it at the beginning, but then at the end, nah, we're just gonna kill this Kang off, and now we're gonna have plenty of Kangs, and which we know there's plenty of Kangs. We already know that, but then why was there such an emphasis in this film with this Kang, and then we're just gonna kill him? Like, I needed everybody to die at the end. I'm sorry, I'll say it. Spoiler. Well, not really spoilers. We're not giving spoilers, y'all. Actually, yeah. But so
I think you already have given.
That was a big spoiler there.
So we might as well just go into spoilers.
It might be a minute before this gets out.
We know there's many Kangs, y'all. There's many Kangs, but I just needed everybody. I needed not Kang to die. Spoiler. Okay, spoilers. I needed my Kang. And to me, I think this film now did him a disservice at the end of the film. Like we're going up that up ramp. We're getting ready to, you know, on a roller coaster. And then the ride went out from under me at the very end of the film. I did not like the ending of this film.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So
no, I think I'm done. I lost my energy. Because that's how I felt. Like I was on a high. And then we get to the end of this film and I'm like, what?
Glenn, what's your response first, and then I'll go. Okay.
Well, I mean, I feel like in much the same way that, you know, Kang was banished to the quantum realm. I think you know, the way that this film played out, we don't know if this Kang actually is gone. We're pretty much led to believe, and it's pretty solidly like almost stated, like, yeah, for real, he's gone, but we still don't know. And since there's so many other baddies in there, like I thought, for me personally, I thought that there was a moment in the movie where like Janet Van Dyne and Kang are talking, and you know, she sees his conquest and destroying all other universes and this type of thing. And I felt like there was something that he wanted to like say to her, almost of like almost I had to do it. Like, for real, you don't understand. Yeah. You don't understand how bad it is. I had to do it, and I'm on this mission because I had to do it. Now, with that being said, we don't know what we're going to see with the new Kangs, because you know, like if he's on this mission to destroy all these worlds and whatnot, there's a reason for it, and we don't know what it's unleashed. And when he said something to Ant-Man like, don't do this, you're about to unleash some shit, just like He Who Remains told Loki, don't do it, you're about to unleash some shit. Like, you know, I don't, you know, and then, you know, to have at the end of the film where it's like, he said some things about like should I have done that? No, he's dead. He's definitely dead. It's fine. I thought the disappointment in everybody else dying, it's kind of replaced with what you're saying, like this Kang not living. So it's almost like you got the disappointment you wanted, but not the one you wanted. You know what I mean? Like you wanted a death, right? You wanted like, oh, Ant-Man didn't make it, or Janet didn't make it, or something like that. but really you did almost get the thing that you weren't expecting, which is this Kang to not make it. So part of me feels, you know what I mean, like I felt the same way you, like, damn, they did it like that. But you know, as things transpire, you're like, I'm like, all right, maybe, because this Kang seemed very powerful and he seemed very metered for somebody, you know what I'm saying, who was like you know, world, like supposed to be world conquering and whatnot. He was kind of cool. He was dope. But I do get what you're saying. He definitely felt OP, and I'm like, damn, he ain't really using the power, you know, like that, you know, towards the end. And it was a little bit confusing.
It made no sense.
But also though, you got like every time when Ant-Man was like trying to fight him, he was fighting him like big sized or whatever, you know what I mean? So perhaps it didn't have enough power. They didn't explain it enough, and I'm trying to explain it for him, so I shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like clearly it was a loophole in the logic. There should have been an explanation of why, like when they're really small, maybe they, you know, can go around the tech or whatever. If they're really big, you can't do anything with it. But I definitely feel you on that. There are some certain points where, you know, it seems like the tech was damaged, but I definitely feel you on that. Like he seemed like mad OP, and then all of a sudden he just like was just getting smashed, which is kind of weird. But you know, I dug it. You know what I like? I like this for the fact that it didn't let me down, and it got me excited for what's to come. But I did feel a sense of like, all right, cool. Like not like a, you know, like usually when I leave a Marvel movie, I'm like, damn, is that the best one I've seen? And I didn't get that from this one. I got like, okay, I'm ready for more. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get like, oh, that was the best. Like after I saw Shang-Chi, I was like, damn, that was the fight scenes were dope. Like, was that the best like that I've seen out of a Marvel movie? This one, it didn't, I don't know, it just didn't give me that. But I did like, you know, Kang and the, you know, the villain that he is. So anyway, that was long and rambling. I'm very interested to hear what Heather thinks about all of this that we've just kind of laid at her feet. Yeah. What do you think, Heather? What's going on in your mind?
So we still haven't talked about the fact that in most of the MCU, and we are utilizing that magic is actually technology, not that they are incredibly OP. You know, Thanos isn't the strongest being in the universe. He's technically a hybrid. You know, we have beings with magic that are technically robots. The only true beings with magic are the sorcerers and the witches so far. And what we fail to really reflect in is that with him, much
and the gods. Sorry to interrupt. And the gods.
No, the gods are magic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The gods are technology, not magic.
Okay, all right.
The gods are technology. They're advanced technologies, but they're not magic.
Okay.
This is the same for him. He's got incredibly advanced technologies that can appear like magic and can appear like strength. But when things are taken away, all of a sudden you become a normal human. He has abilities past normal human consciousness and past normal human abilities, in which he can perceive all of himself, human or otherwise, in other universes. That does not negate the fact that he probably is using technology throughout this period. So when we are thinking about, oh, maybe it just got terrible. Honestly, the final fight was one of my favorite moments, because even if you look at Black Panther, just because that was the most recent, that final fight was just like the weirdest, most CGI fight on the planet. Namor deserved better. Whereas this, like, that was there was one point, Glenn, I don't know if I went, oh, like real tight. Like, yeah. You could feel it. It was a nice, good fight. And it's tech. They might not be gone. The great thing about time and space is that it's a circle and a straight line and a square, and it goes in all directions. We don't know who's gone and who isn't. We just know the perception of who's gone and who isn't. Yeah. We could see anything. And that's one of the great, like, this is only the beginning. This is literally the first film in phase 5. We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I mean, here's the thing. Because when Kang was banished before, he was not able to, like, you know, get his power core, you know, so that he could power his ship. And so now he doesn't have his ship, but I believe like he got shrunk down with his power core. So presumably he could, you know what I mean, use technology to try to get it back online and come back. We don't know. I will say this. I thought I was fulfilled. The final fight scene I thought was cool. I was not as upset. I was like, oh man, they're gonna do him like that. But like you said, there's so many Kangs. I wasn't as hurt or upset by that because I knew there were going to be variants or whatever. But I thought that the final fight scene gave you something pretty dope in an Ant-Man film that we hadn't seen before. And you know, I thought it was cool. I was excited to see it play out that way. You know what I mean? Excited to see you know, the different characters that came to fight along Ant-Man's side, you know, in the rebellion and whatnot. I thought it was cool to you know, to see. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, you know, quite a bit. That final fight scene, especially. I thought that final fight scene kind of made up for a lot of you know, a lot of the rest of the movie. There obviously were some holes, some things that I would have liked to, you know, that could have made more sense. Could have got a little bit more of I guess we already did spoilers. I could have got a lot more of MODOK, you know what I mean? But I think that Marvel does a great job of making characters that you do not expect to see again, or do not expect to be an integral part, growing those into characters that you focus on. I think they do a great job of that, and I think they did a great job of that here. So I'm very interested to see how it plays out. I'll just go back. You know, we didn't all get to talk about Wakanda Forever, but that final fight scene. Here's some things that I noticed, like because I watched it again. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it was like in anamorphic, but then it was in like normal screen. Like when she's fighting Namor, it like squeezes down and it's like letterbox. But then when they're fighting on the boat, it goes back to like normal, which is just kind of a weird filmmaking thing that I was just like, why is it, you know, it was just weird. But I think the issue, and I hope that it's fixed with the next iteration of Black Panther, is Ryan Coogler has not done these like major sci-fi big fight scenes. I think you saw it in the first Black Panther, where they had a really cool fight scene, but there was just like one of them. And then, you know, in the other Black Panther, it was, you know, everything is kind of like shot from like a wide thing, and then you're watching everything happen. But I think in the next one, he'll have like a, you know, a better like stunt coordinator and maybe some, you know, better cinematography. I think he's just growing within the major superhero realm. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. But this one here, Quantumania, really had a good time with it, and I thought the fight scene was all right. I could see why people don't like it, but I feel like I do with every Marvel movie. It's like wait till the next one. like maybe it'll be better. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp, I liked better watching it before I watched Quantumania. I'm like, oh, this actually wasn't like, you know, like bad or whatever. This was actually kind of cool. I like this, you know. So
okay. So to chime back in a little bit, before I get in again on Kang a little bit, because I again fucking love Jonathan Majors and he's amazing. But then, yeah, like I said, this last half of the film disappointed me. But before I get back into that a little bit, I also want to just throw some other pluses that I may not have mentioned earlier. In the quantum realm, I really enjoyed William Jackson Harper, or Quaz. If he's Quasar, I don't know. That just got me interested now because you said that, Heather. We don't really know. I really enjoyed Veb, David Dastmalchian, who we saw as Human Earther, you know, and I forgot what his character was in, you know, the previous two films. But I really enjoyed this Veb character. This, you know, all the holes, or not holes, or maybe holes. I don't know. Let me stop spoiling. Gentora. Oh my God. Katie O'Brien. Fine. Like, beat me up, homie. Beat me up. Badass.
I think Cassie wants that a little bit more than you do.
Right? But so I want to know more about that actor because it's just badass. And as you brought up Cassie, I really enjoyed the difference in how, you know, she's really about being an activist and the, you know, looking out for the little guy, plug from the film. Just that difference in father-daughter concepts that I can completely relate with, and just wanting to do best. And then she, you know, is at heart the hero too as well, but just wanting to do more. And Dad, you got to get back into the swing of things. Like, what are you, if you really are a hero, then you got to be a hero. I love that was great. And Catherine Newton, shout out to her, as our Cassie Lang. So a lot of pluses. I enjoy this film, good family film, but To me, this film was all about Jonathan Majors, our Kang the Conqueror. He was conquering up until, like, you had me in the first half. You know that quote? You had me in the first half because they made him out to be beast. But to me, that Ender killed it. And here's a controversial thought that I have. And I want to just throw this out there lastly before we get up out of here, y'all. If they do this, I'm going to be so upset. So say he did die. Say this. We don't know. Okay. And then get hashtag spoilers or whatever. But, okay. This was supposed to be the Kang or maybe the King, but because of the way they presented this film is all about this guy who was banished here. So to me, this had to be the Kang. You know, that's the whole emphasis of this story. We killed him off, supposedly. We have all these other Kang variants out here. What if these next batch of films, I had just had this thought, we just gonna kill a black man all over the place, and then all of a sudden now we have this. If this is what we're doing, I have a problem as a person of color. And just to me now, this is kind of like a thing that an easy way to write shit out. And I don't know. That's just the thought I had because of how Hollywood, you know, maybe don't get me wrong. Marvel's different. We're a lot more, centric to the world, but history has shown me of what cinema can do and how we portray people of color. Are we going to now have we built up this villain for y'all, but you know what? We're going to kill him whenever we want to now in a bunch of films in a lot of different ways. That is the feeling that transferred through my head. I'm going to throw it back to y'all, but if I was the writer on this, I had a lot more ideas that I would have liked to have done. And Marvel hasn't done me wrong, but I didn't like how this ended. It was a good installment. I'm ready for the future back to what you were saying, Glenn. I just didn't like how they played this out and just whether he's dead or not. I didn't like how they wrote the ending of this. And now thinking about it and how Hollywood works.
Yeah.
If this is what we're going to see.
Yeah.
I got a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah. Like, how many times are we going to have to see him get killed? Like, yeah, I get it. I feel you.
So the only white woman and the only white person in the room is definitely going to have an opinion on this, right? One of the great things about the Marvel universe, as you said, about growing cinema is that there are opportunities to give a diverse group of people incredible abilities, some of the strongest roles in the entire multiverse. Like Kang, you don't fuck with Kang. Like, you just don't do it. But there is this whole thing where there is an infinite portion of them. The multiverse is infinite and massive, and the realms are massive and infinite. With that being said, we also have to it's also very important and it's integral to make sure that we are paying attention to where and what we are giving in those positions. I'll use the example of Wednesday. One of the big problems with Wednesday that many, many people of color had was the fact that the only two Black persons within the universe at this time were bad at one point and are now being like fixed. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, that is not appropriate. That is literally typecasting. That is literally stereotyping. That's literally racial profiling within a character genre. So we need to be very careful when I say we, Disney, be very careful because it's there are definitely going to be elements of you could hurt a lot of people by sheer want of trying to diversify your cast. I am so excited to see the multitudes of Jonathan Majors in this role. Once again, I said this in another video. Jonathan, call me. Okay, just call me. Okay. But it is definitely it could be incredibly damaging to the fan base.
Yeah. No, I'm there. I agree with you guys. We'll see what happens.
Glenn has few words.
No, I just agree. Yeah. I feel like I said a lot there. And,
and so long with 3 words. Say a lot with 3 words.
Yeah, no, I totally see what you're talking about. I thought it too.
Okay, so I'm not alone, basically, then, right, brother?
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. You know what I mean? Like, man, why's it got to be, like this? And then there's just, going to be a lot of them. I kind of agree with you. Like, I'm hoping for for lack of a better term, a win for the Kang. So you're not just seeing, oh, he beats him again, because in the movie he says like, oh, you're an Avenger. Have I killed you before? Have there been a lot? Which is a silly thing for Kang to say. Come on, Kang. You realize I'm still.
But that's also beast mode too, though.
What?
That's also beast mode too, though. I dug that in a way.
It is, but it's like, come on, that was low key. That was shade, bro. That was shade. You ain't killed me. I'm standing in front of you, trying to be cool. I see what you're doing, but I get what y'all are saying. I agree on that. But again, I like you said, Kuya P. Marvel tends to try to do these things a little bit better than the next. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. I have some hope. Especially with the next slate of films. I'm very excited for Guardians to come out, and we'll see what happens, man. But I thought that this was an okay installment. I'd like the family dynamic. I thought it was solid in that way. But yeah, I do see what you're saying in terms of like, I don't want to see it over and over again,
Yeah. And if anything, I just wanted this film to end with a win to present the big baddie. I wanted Kang to be like, yeah, that motherfucker, you don't fuck with Kang. That's what I needed with this, and they didn't give it to me. And that's what I think also hurts most. And then with the thoughts of that we just stated, that, they're going to be going after Kang in different iterations, like, we could at least get one win before we start just killing variants of my brother. Anyway, we've talked a lot. There's going to be much more to talk about. And, there's a little Ender in here that we know we're going to be seeing him again. So as y'all know, we like to talk about Disney Plus series. I'm not going to say anymore. There'll be more Kang talk. Well, I'll just leave it like that. Did I spoil too much on that? Did I? I think I did. Anyway, we'll be talking Loki, y'all. So stay tuned. Heather, let's sign up out of here before I get in any more trouble. Y'all know how I love to play around. That's if people stay to the end of this hour-long review. So if they stay long, you got something. I don't think the people that matter are going to be waiting this long. So anyway. Heather, how can the people reach out to you so we can talk all things Marvel and they can get the comic book plugs? Because you got that plug on what's of all these characters in there and then their respective, appearances in the titles.
Sure. If you ever want to talk to me about comics of any flavor, usually not Ant-Man because his comics are usually terrible and some of them include abuse. You can reach out to me at Nerd is a Heather on Twitter and at Heather is a Nerd on TikTok and Instagram.
Glenn Lawrence, how can they level up with you into the quantum realm?
Level up at levelupcomedy.com. Glenn levels up on Twitter. Glenn Lawrence Comedy on Facebook as well as IG.
All right. And for me, it's the Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, IG, Hive, and of course here with Heather and Glenn. We love y'all. Let's all go into this MCU together. Let's talk about it in the comments. Appreciate y'all. Your boy Kuya P. This is Nerds World the World at the NRW and Unreleased Wednesday. Love y'all.
Peace.